Alright, starting lesson 1.1, first thing we're going to do is talk about the units of measurement. And 1 foot is equal to how many inches? That would be 12. Alright, 1 yard is equal to how many feet? That would be 3 feet. And 1 mile is equal to how many feet? 5,280. Now, for centimeters, millimeters, and kilometers, we're going by tens because we're working with the metric system. So 1 centimeter is equal to how many millimeters? That would be 10. And 1 meter is equal to how many centimeters? That's 100. All right, and 1 kilometer is equal to how many meters? 1,000. That's the nice thing about the metric system. Everything goes by tens. All right, now how to read a ruler or a straight edge. Okay, at this point, if you're having any trouble with reading a ruler, make sure you ask for help so I could just break it down and point out to you all the different components and really help you understand how to use a straight edge. All right, it's a real life skill you'll be using in the future, so make sure you know how to use a ruler. Okay, now for measuring. Okay, I have this little 1-inch ruler here. So here I start off with 1 inch. Okay, and I'm going to move it over a little bit so I could get another 1/2 inch. And so there's another 1/2. There you go. That's just based off of what I'm doing. Okay, you could be doing it yourself and it may come out different, just because when you're working on an iPad or any digital screen, you could minimize the text or even blow it up, so it's going to change the length in this particular scenario. Alright, let's go to 3/4 inch. Okay, so here I'm at 1/4, then that's 2/4 because that's 1/2, and then that's 3/4. Alright, so there's my segment there, and then 1 1/8 inch. Come over here, I'm going to do it just under this here. I'm going to do it in blue. 1 1/8 inch. So here's 1 inch. Hopefully I could squeeze this in here, which I can. Awesome. Alright, so that's 1/8 inch there. And 1/8. There we go. Okay. Let's bring it down. Next example. Alright, so I have 1 3/16 inch, so that's 1 inch. And then 3/16. Okay, I have 1/16. Alright, so it's going to be, that's 1/16, 2/16, that's 1/8, and then 3/16. Boom, done. Alright, flip your ruler around. Alright, 4 centimeters. Alright, that's simply this. 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters. Okay, and for the next one, alright, you're looking at the bottom now for this measurement. Looking down here. Okay, this is 10 millimeters, this is 20 millimeters, and 25, 26, 27, 28. Yep, there we go. Alright, so if you need any help with this, please make sure to ask. Alright, complete the conversion. Alright, doing conversions now. So we have 48 inches. This is how you set up a conversion. We have 48 inches. Put it over 1. Alright, now you're going to multiply it by some fraction. Now this fraction is your converting fraction. Alright, so this piece here is how you convert. So what am I working with in this problem? I'm working with inches. So I'm going to put inches on the bottom here because inches need to cancel out. Alright, and I'm going to put feet on top because that's what I'm trying to obtain. Now, which one's bigger, a foot or an inch? A foot is. So I'm going to work with 1 foot. Now 1 foot is equal to how many inches? 12. Okay, so now you have your conversion set up, ready to go. So now I just divide 12 into 48. I get 4, and I have 4 feet. 4 times 1 is 4 feet. Okay, let's do it with the next one. 9 yards. put it over 1. Okay, so now I have this fraction here, which is my converting fraction. Since I have yards on top here, I'm going to put yards on the bottom, and then I'm trying to get feet, so feet goes on the top. All right, now which one's bigger, a foot or a yard? A yard. So 1 yard is equal to how many feet? It's equal to 3 feet. So the yards cancels out, and I got 9 times 3, which is 27. All right, so now I'm done with that. Going on to C, I have 7 centimeters. Put that over 1. And I'm going to have centimeters on the bottom, millimeters on the top. Alright, so which one's bigger, a centimeter or a millimeter? A centimeter. So I'm going to be working with 1 centimeter, and that's equal to how many millimeters? 10. Alright, so centimeters cancels out. 7 times 10, which is 70. Okay, should be getting the hang of this now. Once again, always make sure to ask for help if you're confused. Alright, so here I have 76 inches. I'm going to convert this into feet. So here's my converting fraction. Right, you don't have to put a circle around it. This is just the most important piece when you're doing conversions. Right, and you'll be doing this in chemistry very often. So if you understand it now, it'll translate over to chemistry nicely. Alright, so we have inches on the bottom here. Feet goes on top. Which one's bigger, a foot or an inch? 1 foot. 1 foot is equal to how many inches? 12. Alright, inches cancels out. I'm going to divide 12 into 76. Alright, goes in there 6 times. 6 times 12 is 72. Difference is 4. Okay, so I have 6 and 4/12 of a foot. Alright, and 4/12 also reduces to 1/3. Alright, so 6 and 1/3 of a foot. Alright, now I have 280 centimeters over 1. Here's my converting fraction. Centimeters on the bottom, meters on top. Which one's bigger, a meter or a centimeter? A meter. 1 meter is how many centimeters? 100. Alright, so I divide 100 into 280. And that goes in there twice. So 2 times 100 is 200. Difference is 80. So we're left with 2 and 80 tenths. Or 100ths. Or 2 and 8 tenths. And that's the same thing as 2.8. Alright, for the next one, we have 2,000 millimeters. And we want to convert this into meters. Alright, now you could go straight from millimeters to meters, but let's work with the information that we have. So I'm going to start off with 2,000 millimeters. And I'm first going to convert the millimeters into centimeters. Okay, and then I'll convert the centimeters into meters. All right, so first of all, how many centimeters are in a millimeter? Or how many millimeters are in a centimeter? Well, 1 centimeter is bigger. And so we have 10 millimeters in a centimeter. And a meter is bigger than a centimeter. So 1 meter is how many centimeters? It's 100. Okay, so now we cancel out here. And then I have 2,000 meters over 1,000. And that's equal to 2 meters. Boom. On to the next problems. All right, the blank is the distance around a 2-dimensional object. That would be the perimeter. All right, and you blank for the perimeter. You add when you're trying to figure out a perimeter. So find the perimeter of the figure. Here I have 8. Here I have 3. So the perimeter is 8 plus 3 plus 8 plus 3, which is 22 inches. Done. For the next one, perimeter is 5 plus 11 plus 8. So the perimeter is equal to 24 centimeters. For the next one, this one you have to think a little more about. All right, notice that this length here is 2. So what's this length? That's going to be 2. All right, now this length here is 9 all the way across. This length is 2. This length is 6. So what's this length going to be? Well, 2 plus 6 is 8, so this has to be 1, because going all the way across, it has to be 9. So that's 1, and that's 4 here, so that's 4 over here. All right, so you just have to think a little bit in order to get the other lengths that are missing. All right, now the perimeter is going to be equal to 4 plus 2 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2 plus 1 plus 4 plus 9. So the perimeter is equal to 30. And since there's no units of measurement, and in part C you just say units. All right, done with that. All right, area is a quantity measured in square units, which expresses the size of a surface. All right, squares and rectangles. The side lengths of a square or rectangle are referred to as the length, which is a cursive L, and the width, or the base and height. So it's your choice how you want to look at it. All right, the area formula for a square rectangle is length times width, or you could say base times height. All right, you blank for area. You always multiply when you're trying to figure out an area. All right, so find the area of the figure. So we're going to have length, which is 11, times the width, which is 11, or base times height. So the area is 121 meters squared. For the next one, area is base times height, or length times width. So we have 3 times 12. So the area is 36, and it's going to be yards squared. Now, here's one very important idea I want you to understand, and I find that many students, they're putting numbers in the formula, they're figuring out this number, but when I ask, what does this number actually mean, they have no idea how to describe it. Like, so what does the meter square mean here? Many students do not know what that means. All right, here's what it means. So I could divide these sides up into 11 pieces. Okay? Now, I'm a little off here. This isn't exactly 11 pieces, but I'm just trying to convey the idea. So if I draw lines across, all right, then draw lines down, up and down. Notice that I get all these little squares inside. So when I'm figuring out the area, in this particular problem, it says that I have 121 meters squared. In other words, I have 121 of these little squares here inside the box. All right, that's what area is. All right, same thing here. All right, I could draw a line down. All right, then I could go across. All right, now it may not be exact here. It's a little hard to be exact with this. Okay, so this means that I have 36 of these little squares within this shape. All right, that's what area is all about. All right, so for part C now, we have 8 going up and down, and I have 4, 4. That should be 4, right? So if that's 2, then that has to be what? 2. All right, here I have 12 going all the way across, so that has to be 12. And here I have 8, so that has to be 8. All right. Now if I want to figure out the area, what am I going to do? Now there's different ways to approach this problem. I'll show you 2 ways. All right, the most basic way is to imagine this as one solid block. Okay, so the area is equal to, well, what's the area of the whole block? It's 12 times 8. Okay, but then I'm counting this piece right here. I don't want to count this piece. So I have to subtract it. So I'm going to subtract the area of that little rectangle, 2 times 8. So I have 12 times 8, which is what? 96 minus 16, which gives me 80. And so it's going to be 80 units squared. Let me show you a different way to approach the problem. All right, instead of looking at the problem as one big block in the beginning, I'm going to break it up into pieces. So I'm going to figure out the area of this piece, then the area of this piece, then the area of this piece, and then just add them all together. So the area of the top rectangle is 2 times 12. The area of that middle rectangle is 2 times, oh, well, I got to do a little thinking to figure that out. This is 12 all the way across, and this is 8. Oops. This is 8 here, so that has to be 4. That little piece here has to be 4. So I have 2 times 4, and then you're adding them together, no subtraction. And then for the last rectangle, I have 4 times 12. So I end up with 24 plus 8 plus 48, which is equal to what? 80. All right, so once again, you get the same answer, just different approach. All right. Triangles. The blank of a triangle is always, all right, the height of a triangle is always, keyword, perpendicular to its base. All right, meaning a right angle is formed. That's perpendicular here. Perpendicular. Right angle is formed. Perpendicular. Okay. Meaning that a, all right, so meaning that a 90-degree or right angle is formed. All right, 90-degree and right angle are the same thing. All right, so there's 3 examples of how to figure out the height for a triangle. Now the area formula for a triangle is area equals base times height divided by 2, or you could say area equals half the base times the height. All right, just 2 different representations, means the same thing though. For example 5, find the area of the triangle. So we have area is equal to half of the base, which is 9, times the height. All right, now, which rather you do? Half times 9 or half times 6? Do half times 6 first, because it's an even number. Keeps it simple. So now I have 9 times 3, which is 27. So here I have area is equal to 27 inches squared. All right, for the next problem, area is equal to half base times height. The base is 8, and the height is 5. So I have 4 times 5, and make sure you don't distribute this. I've seen students do that. Do not do that. All right, no distributing. We're doing nothing but multiplication here. Work with 2 numbers at a time. All right, so it's going to be units squared. All right, and for the last triangle. All right, the area is equal to half the base, which is 7 in this case. Be very careful for that. It's just what's on the bottom of this triangle, not all the way across. But the height here starts from the top and it goes straight down. That's your height. All right, a lot of students will say that this is the height. Okay, you gotta be really careful with that. All right, the height always goes straight down. So we have half of 4 this time. So I have 2 times 7, and the area is 14 units squared. All right, and that's it for the lesson. Begin the assignment on the webpage.